Harambee! Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. President William Ruto was in Kisumu County today. And the residents turned crazy for William Ruto.
Kisumu munasema? Ati Kisumu munasemaje? Ati Kisumu munasemaje? Ati Kisumu munasemaje? ODM. Muko tayari? Na sisi UDA tuko tayari. Na tutafanya kazi na ODM tutengeneze serikali ya kwenda mbele. Munasema mutatuunga mkono? Munanipatia ruhusa niongee na Odnga, niongee na ODM? Munanipatia ruhusa? Hebu nione wala wanasema munanipatia ruhusa tuunde serikali. Kwa hivyo harambee! 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 Tuko pamoja? Tunasonga mbele? Bas.
But there's only one question. Will William Ruto manage to inherit Raila Odinga's support base ahead of 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya?
Nasikia Oburu alisema, si mnajua Oburu Odinga? Kwanza mimi nataka niwaulize. Mimi nataka kuomba ruhusa yenu. Nataka kuomba ruhusa. Sisi tumesema hivi, ili tumalize ukabila, na tumalize ubaguzi, na tumalize chuki, na tuondoe kizirani, tuunganishe kwa serikali, tuwe na mazungumzo kati ya chama ya UDA na chama ya ODM, tuonze na tuunde serikali ya kule mbele.
Because clearly, President Ruto is keen on winning the support of the Luo nation. On Monday, the president will be back to Kisumu again.
Rais wetu, sisi umetuonyesha uzuri wa serikali. Hatutoki, labda wewe ndio utoke serikali utuache. Sisi tumekuja kabisa, hakuna mahali tunaenda. Ya mwisho, Rais, ulisukuma baba 2008 mpaka akawa prime minister. Bila wewe, baba angekufa kama former MP wa Lang'ata. Wewe ndio umemsukuma akakufa na title ya prime minister wa pili wa nchi yetu ya Kenya.
In this video, I want us to ask ourselves several questions. Because, for example, during the last presidential elections, according to IBC, Raila Odinga scored or got 419,000 votes from Kisumu County. President Ruto got only 10,000 votes, which is, if calculated to percentage, was only 2.3% of the votes. That's what the president got here in Kisumu. But the kind of reception we are seeing is different. And the question remains, can he manage to convert this crowd to votes? Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into all those details, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Can William Ruto successfully manage to inherit Raila Odinga's support base? That is the question. Several factors will determine that. Number one, whether the president will be able to complete the projects which he promised to the people of Kenya, and particularly the Luo nation. Immediately Raila Odinga entered into broad-based government with William Ruto, he made several promises. One of them is the road from Mamboleo all the way to Miwani. A major road has been in a very bad state. The the construction began when Uhuru Kenyatta was still the president. So if the president will be able to complete that road, we'll be able to solve a few things. And of course, there are several other projects which he promised. I'm just giving you that particular one. I'm not saying that completing that will translate to votes, but if William Ruto will be able to complete some of those promises, because if he will not be able to complete most of those projects, the residents will keep on reminding him. The opponents will take advantage of those stalled projects. So that's number one. Number two, the deal to the ODM Party. What will the president offer to the ODM Party? What kind of demands are ODM going to put on the table for President Ruto? Are they going to demand, for example, the deputy president? Or are they going to demand for the Ministry for Finance and others? What are they going to demand? And will the president be able to fulfill or to meet some of those demands? Because you can demand certain things which are not realistic. But what the president will offer them will determine whether the people will agree to support the president. Because remember, currently, William Ruto is being received so well in the Nyanza region, despite the fact that he never made any promise to them. The Nyanza people never voted for him, but he gave them certain ministries, in fact, 2 cabinet secretaries. While in the mountain, there are around 8. The Luo Nation are happy about the 2. The mountain are not happy about the 8. So what offer? Importantly, how the ODM rebels, that is Babu Owino, Sifuna, Winnie, are going to play their politics. Because if, for example, they'll be able to gain the momentum, I can assure you, Raila Odinga entered into this broad-based government with William Ruto, but they forgot the people. So Raila entered into the broad-based with Ruto, but left the people behind. So people who were trying to join him, but he passed on before that process was completed. So which means as we speak, the rebels can say, who told you? And people will buy that who told you story. And importantly, how the united opposition are also going to behave will determine whether Ruto will inherit Raila support base. For example, Rigathi Gachagua cannot make Raila Odinga supporters join them. But Kalonzo can persuade Raila Odinga supporters to support him, because he worked with Raila Odinga for a very long time. Someone like Matiang'i, who comes from the Gusii region, can actually convince the Luo Nation to vote for him. But will be determined by how or the strategy he will be using. So the first question as to whether Ruto will be able to inherit Raila Odinga support base is partly answered. The second question, will Nyanza region turn up in large numbers to vote? Because the truth is, and that's the question which is also propping up in the mountain, Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot. Raila Odinga is the main reason why, for example, the Luo Nation used to wake up very early in the morning to go and vote. The same applies to the Kikuyu Nation. Most of them were voting to stop Raila. But now Raila is not there. What do you think William Ruto will use to persuade the residents of Nyanza? Or what do you think can motivate the Luo Nation to wake up and vote? Because they voted for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga was rigged, never became the president. Now he's not there. What do you think will motivate them? So if there's one thing William Ruto will have to work on, if he needs the support of the Luo Nation, is to figure out that, okay, these guys are willing to embrace me, but can they turn out in large numbers? Not just voting. I know so many people have told me directly that for them, they will not vote in 2027. And they're meaning. So there must be something which will persuade them, convince them to vote. Importantly, there are also the external factors. Like you see, in the country, we had Raila phobia, which was always used as a tactic. So these external factors can also determine whether Nyanza can vote. For example, if And this is something which I think the system has been trying to do, to create a wedge between the Luos and the Kikuyu. If they will succeed in creating that wedge between the Luos and the Kikuyus, the Luo nation will wake up to teach the Kikuyu a lesson. The Kikuyu nation will also wake up just to stop Ruto to teach the Luo nation a lesson. And importantly, assuming today William Ruto is rejected by the Luo community, who else do you think they can vote for? Do we have an alternative? Of course, I'm looking at Matiang'i. I'm also looking at Kalonzo. Maybe Babu Owino can run, or even Sifuna, or even Winnie Odinga. So the options are there, but not yet out. And can the Luo nation produce a presidential candidate in 2027? That someone can just emerge, let's say Kidero or Babu Owino, just emerging and running for the presidency. Because again, if someone were to emerge, that's going to be a major blow for William Ruto, and therefore his intention and mission and hopes of winning the Luo nation support will be dimmed. I don't know what to think, but for me, I think the questions which we should ask ourselves is whether William Ruto will be able to inherit Raila Odinga's support base, whether Nyanza will turn out in large numbers to vote for a presidential candidate who is not from one of them, and importantly, who else can run for the presidency, especially from Nyanza. Is it viable? I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.